Good morning. Welcome to the first week of hybrid learning. Uh, just a few reminders before we start. Any late work is only acceptable only 1 week after the original deadline. So for this assignment, for example, it's due tonight, which means 1 week from today is the last day you can submit any adjustments to that assignment, whether it was late and you needed to submit it, or if you didn't do very well and needed to resubmit it, you follow the same process as late work, and you get up to 75% as well. Okay, so make sure you know this, or else I'll have to email you back saying I won't accept it because it's over a week. Okay. Second thing is tutoring, especially for those at home, whether like this week it's cohort B at home, but even next week and the week after that, if you're ever home, know that you can always schedule tutoring with me. Just to like if you have any questions for me or want to walk through any of the assignments or anything like that. All right. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about in this video is still integers, but we're actually applying our knowledge to practical situations. So all of the problems we're going to be dealing with today in this video are going to be practical word problems. And what we're going to do while solving those problems is, first of all, take the English and translate it into math. And you'll see what that would look like. Certain words, once we see, we have to know how to interpret them into either a positive or negative sign, addition or subtraction, and so on. And then, so that's part of it. Another part is identifying the operation. By operation, I mean, is it addition, subtraction, division, or multiplication? We need to know which operation the problem is talking about. And then finally, we need to actually solve the problem, right? Whatever question the problem is asking, we need to be able to solve it. So let's get started. At the start of the month, Jimmy owes $60 to the bank. A week later, his employer deposits $130 into his account. So first, you know that Jimmy owes $60. So owes $60. And then second, we know that his employer deposits $130. So deposit $130. There are two words here that we don't know. The first is owes, the second is deposit. So what do they mean? What does it mean to owe? And how do we translate that to math? And what does it mean to deposit? And how do we translate that to math? So, if I owe someone money, that means I need to give them this amount, okay? Which means that I'm taking this amount away from me. So I borrowed money from someone. Let's say I borrowed 10 pounds from Nadine. Then I need to pay her back those 10 pounds. So she's going to be taking away 10 pounds from me. And so when I say owed, when someone owes someone money, it's always negative. It's always represented as negative for the person that owes the money. So we have negative $60 here to represent the money owed. The opposite is what a deposit, or not the opposite, but a deposit is putting money in. And we've done this in a question before, in notes before. To deposit money is to give someone money. So depositing money into someone's account is putting money into someone's account, and so you're adding $130 to whatever sum you had to begin with. Okay? Jimmy starts off owing $60. So we want to start off, we want the number line to start off somewhere that represents this. So let's look. A starts off at, this is the 0 here, it starts off at positive 70, it looks like. So we don't want that. B starts off at 60, so that's good, because it starts over here. C starts off at negative 60, not 60. C starts off at negative 60 as well, so that's good. And then D starts off at positive 60, as you can see, so that's bad because we need to start with Jimmy owing $60, which is negative. So we have two options right now, and that's B and C. Now, let's look at the second part. The second part is depositing 130. So we're saying that we start at negative 60, and we add 130. What is the result of that? And if you want to think about it in a different way, this is exactly the same as saying 130 minus 60. And so if you calculate this, you get 70. So in the end, Jimmy ends up with $70. So we need to find a number line that ends at $70. Looking at B, we can see that it ends at $130, but that doesn't make any sense because if you owe 60 and you add 130, you cannot end up with 130 because you need to pay off the 60. The same goes for D, even though we're not considering it. It ends at 190 actually. But if we look at C here, negative 60 plus 130, it ends up at exactly 70 over here. And so C is our correct answer. All right. Now, we ended up at 130, sure. So Jimmy starts this new month, with $130 in his account. This is part B of the question. He now spends $60 on it. So when we say spends, is that positive or negative? When you spend money out of your bank account, is that shown as positive or negative? It's negative, right? So he's spending $60, and he started with 130. So let's think about it. 130 is what he started with. He spends 60. So we fully translated the problem into a mathematical expression, and we can solve that again, and it's going to be positive 70. So that's good. 130 minus 60 is positive 70. So we're looking at a number line that starts at 130. This one starts at 130, that's good. This one starts at 130, that's good. Starts at 130, that's good. This one starts at negative 60, that's bad. Okay, so we did that. Now we need to subtract 60 and end up at 70. This one ends at 190, that's bad. This one ends at 70, that's good. This one ends at negative 60, that's really bad. This one ends at 70, which is good, but it started at negative 60, which is bad. And so we have our final answer as D. So we're following the steps that we had in the title page, which is just translating from English to math, identifying whether it's addition, subtraction, division, or multiplication, and then solving the expression, or simplifying the expression. All right, now this is the last question. The image below shows a miner traveling up and down a mine shaft. So you can see this miner, and he's going up and down this mine shaft. Maybe he's mining diamonds or something, bringing them up. And so, let's see. So the image below shows how the location of a miner traveling up and down a mine shaft relates to an integer on the number line. So they actually have a number line here for us, and another number line here that's sort of in English. So this is English, and this is math, or I should say this is just integers. Integers. Okay, so you'll see here that the surface here is at 0. That's the surface, that's the ground, right? If you go below the ground, so it says 1 meter below, 2 meters below, and so on, you start going into negative numbers. If you go up, so above ground, if you go 1 meter above ground, 2 meters above ground, that's positive. So what integer represents 3 meters above the surface? So if this is the surface, they want to know what integer represents 3 meters above. And you can see the equivalent right here is just 3. So this is the integer. Now, let's keep this actually. Let's keep this picture. Now, what integer represents 5 meters below So let me go back here. Let me erase this 3. What integer represents 5 meters below? So instead of going up, we're now going down all the way to 5 meters below, which you can see on the other side is just -5. All right, pretty simple so far. Let's leave that. Get rid of this. Open C. Now C says, let me erase this. If Judy is initially 2 meters above the surface, okay? So Judy is 2 meters above the surface. Let's mark that in orange. She's initially over here, and descends. Descends means to go down. To go down. And the opposite of that is ascends, and that's to go up. To go up. All right. So Judy is initially at 2 meters above the surface. So Judy is right here, and descends. So she heads downwards 9 meters. 9 meters in the elevator. What's her endpoint? So she starts at 2. So she starts at 2. That's where she is. She's at +2. Then she descends 9 meters. So this is where she starts. And 2 descends 9. Right? 9 meters. And that means that if we translate this as an integer, it would mean -9. Descends would give us the negative sign, and then 9 is just 9, right? So if we were to calculate it, it's just 2 minus 9, and that's -7. So what integer represents your endpoint? And there we have it. It's -7. If we want to say this in English, it would be 7 meters below. Notice that we don't say -7 meters below. It's just 7 meters below, and below signifies that it's negative. Okay, last one. D. If Judy is at a location represented by -5, so Judy again, playing in the mine shaft. She's at a location represented by -5. So let's put Judy in, let's see, in brown here, right here. And ascends this time, so this time we're using the word ascends, 3 meters. So she's going up 3 meters. So we start at -5, we're ascending, so we're adding 3 meters. Which option describes her new location? And what's -5 plus 3? That's -2. So she went up and she ended up here at -2. But how do we say that in English? And so if she's at -2, then she's 2 meters below the surface. Let me not hide the 2. So she's 2 meters below the surface here, which is option A. All right, that's it for today. Read the instructions, follow them, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.